Have you ever thought about AI that can learn new stuff and actually combine those skills to tackle something totally new?
Hmm.
Well, that's what we're diving into today.
Okay.
A research paper called Skill Expansion and Composition in Parameter Space. And it's all about this new framework, PSCC, that helps AI evolve and really get smarter
Yeah.
in a way that's much closer to how we humans learn.
It's fascinating to see how this research is tackling one of the biggest challenges we have in AI development, which is the tabula rasa problem. Most AI systems, they learn each new thing completely from scratch,
Oh, wow.
which is incredibly inefficient.
So it's like having to relearn the alphabet every time you want to read a new book.
Yeah,
The paper really emphasizes how we humans are good at using what we already know to solve new problems.
exactly. Think about learning to ride a bike. Years later, that helps you pick up snowboarding faster, even though it's a different activity. We naturally build upon our knowledge.
Right.
But getting AI to do that has been a real hurdle.
This PFEC framework seems like a big step forward. Can you break it down? How does it actually work?
Well, so instead of starting from zero every time, PSC lets AI build up a skill library, and each skill is stored as a module called a LoRa module.
So it's like the AI is collecting a toolbox
Yeah,
of abilities it can use whenever it needs them.
that's a great way to put it. And here's what gets really interesting. These LoRa modules, they can be combined in different ways to solve brand new problems.
Wait, so the AI can actually mix and match its skills, kind of like a chef combining ingredients to make a new dish. Tell me more about how that works.
Sure. So the paper explores a few different levels of what they call skill composition.
Okay.
The most powerful one they found is called parameter level composition. Basically, this means that the AI is not just choosing between separate pre-programmed plans.
Right.
It's more like having a core strategy that's woven into its code, and the LoRa modules allow it to adjust that core strategy for different situations.
Oh, so it's adaptable instead of being locked into rigid responses. That makes a lot of sense. But I'm curious, how did the researchers actually test whether this works?
So they tested PSCC in a range of scenarios to see how well it could adapt. For example, they looked at what's called multi-objective composition. Imagine an autonomous driving AI that has to balance several goals at once. It needs to get to its destination quickly, but it also needs to stay safe and follow traffic rules.
Oh, yeah.
That's a lot to juggle.
Yeah, even for us humans, navigating those competing priorities can be tough.
Right.
So how did PSE handle it?
Well, they use a context-aware module that helps the AI shift focus between goals based on what's happening around it. So if there's an obstacle, the safety skill gets prioritized. But if the road is clear, it can focus on reaching the destination quickly.
That's impressive. It's like the AI is constantly evaluating the situation and adjusting its game plan on the fly. What other scenarios did they test?
Another interesting one is what they call continual policy shift. This is where the AI learns a sequence of increasingly complex skills, building upon what it learned before. So in the paper, they give the example of an AI learning to stand, then walk, then run, each skill leveraging the one before it.
So it's not starting from scratch each time. It's building upon a foundation of skills, just like we do as we learn and grow. What other cool applications did they explore?
Well, they also looked at dynamic shift,
Okay.
which is all about adapting to changes in the environment. This could be anything from navigating different terrains to even controlling a whole new robot body. Imagine AI that can transfer its skills to new situations without having to relearn everything.
Okay, my mind is officially blown, but there's one thing I'm still wondering about. All this skill library stuff is happening within the AI's code, right? So how can we actually visualize what's going on in there?
Right, that's where this really cool visualization technique called TSNE comes in. The paper uses TSNE to create a kind of map showing how similar or different the skills are based on where they cluster together.
So it's like a visual representation of the AI's skill set, showing the relationships between different abilities.
Precisely. And what's really fascinating is that when they used TSNE to visualize the parameter level composition, remember that's the most powerful type of skill blending, they found a very clear and organized structure. The skills are distinct, but they also share common elements, suggesting a framework where AI can be both specialized and generalized.
This is giving me a whole new perspective on what AI is capable of. It's not just about following pre-programmed instructions anymore. It's about learning, adapting, and even evolving its skills in a way that's much closer to how we humans learn. This PSC framework is clearly a game changer.
It certainly has the potential to revolutionize how we think about AI development. But it also raises some big questions about the future.
That's what I'm thinking too. If AI can learn new skills as easily as we can, what does that mean for the future of work, for example? Or for how we interact with technology in our daily lives? There's so much to unpack here.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what we'll be exploring in the next part of our deep dive. We'll delve into the potential applications of PSE and what it means for the future of AI in society as a whole. Stay tuned.
Can't wait. Welcome back. Before the break, we were talking about PSE and how it could change the game for AI, making it much more adaptable. What really struck me is this idea that AI could actually start to evolve its skills. What are the implications of that?
It is a fascinating concept to consider. When we think about an AI that can constantly learn and adjust its abilities, I think fields like robotics immediately come to mind,
Yeah, it makes sense. We could see robots that can seamlessly move between different tasks in manufacturing, healthcare, you name it.
right?
They could adapt to new tools and procedures on the fly, even work more effectively alongside humans.
Exactly. And imagine the possibilities beyond just efficiency and productivity. This type of adaptable AI could have a huge impact on areas like personalized learning and assistive technology. Like what if we had AI tutors that could adjust their teaching methods to each student's individual needs? Or assistive devices that could learn and anticipate the needs of people with disabilities.
Those are some pretty incredible applications. It feels like we're on the verge of a major shift in how we interact with technology. But we also have to remember that, this research is still early. What kind of hurdles need to be cleared before we see PSE being used more widely?
Well, scalability is a big one. The scenarios they tested in the paper are, relatively simple compared to the complexity of many real-world tasks. To make PSE work on a larger scale, we'll need significant advancements in both hardware and software.
It's like the difference between building a model airplane and an actual jet.
Yeah.
The core concepts might be similar, but the scale and complexity are on a whole other level. What other challenges do you see?
Well, as AI becomes more autonomous and capable of learning new skills on its own, we need to make sure we can keep up in terms of oversight. It's crucial that these advancements are handled responsibly, ethically.
Right. It's not just about making AI more powerful, it's about making sure it's used for good.
Absolutely. And that leads to another important consideration, the potential impact on the workforce. Adaptable AI like this could create new job opportunities, but it's also likely to change the nature of work in some industries. It's something we need to be thinking about as this technology continues to develop.
It's a good reminder that technology is a tool, and it's up to us to make sure it's used ethically and for the benefit of society as a so.
And that brings us back to the core of what we're discussing today, how AI is learning and evolving. PSCC is a perfect example of how researchers are making incredible progress in this field. They are drawing inspiration from how humans learn to build AI systems that are not only intelligent, but also adaptable and efficient.
Yeah, it's remarkable to see this shift in an AI development. It's no longer just about training AI for specific tasks. We're talking about giving AI the tools to learn, adapt, and even evolve on its own. What are your thoughts on where this might lead?
Well, I believe we are witnessing a paradigm shift. As AI becomes more like us in its ability to learn and grow, the possibilities are almost limitless.
It's a future that's both exciting and a little bit daunting, isn't it? We're talking about AI that could potentially solve some of the world's biggest challenges,
Right.
but we also need to be aware of the potential downsides.
Exactly. And that's why conversations like this are so important. We need to be aware of both the potential and the pitfalls so we can guide the development of AI in a direction that benefits all of humanity.
Well said. Before we wrap things up, I'd love to hear any final thoughts you might have for our listeners.
The research paper we discussed today focuses on the technical side of things, how this AI skill development actually works. But as we've touched on, there are much broader implications to consider.
Right. We can't lose sight of the ethical considerations and the impact these advancements will have on society as a whole.
That's a great point. And I think it's important to remember that ethics aren't static. They evolve over time as our society changes and our understanding of AI grows.
So it's not enough to simply program AI with a fixed set of rules. We need to develop AI systems that can actually learn and adapt their ethical framework as the world changes around them. That's a pretty complex challenge.
It is. And it's a challenge that goes beyond computer science. It requires collaboration between experts from various fields, including philosophy, psychology, sociology, and law, just to name a few.
It really highlights the fact that the future of AI isn't just about technology, it's about shaping that technology in a way that aligns with our values and aspirations for a better future.
That's a great takeaway. So to our listeners out there, keep thinking about the potential of AI, not just for solving technical problems, but for addressing some of the biggest challenges facing our world.
And remember, the future of AI isn't preordained. It's something we're all actively shaping through our choices, our discussions, and our commitment to building a better world. Thanks for joining us on this dive.
Until next time, stay curious.
It's amazing to think about AI evolving right alongside us, constantly learning and adapting. It really makes you wonder, like, what kind of partnership we could have with AI in the future.
Yeah, it's a future full of possibilities, but it also requires us to think carefully. We've talked about the technical advancements of PSE and the exciting potential it holds, but we can't forget about the human element.
Right. We need to make sure that as AI evolves, it reflects our values and contributes to a better world for everyone. That's what makes these conversations so important.
I completely agree. The research paper we've been talking about, it focuses on the nuts and bolts of how AI can develop these new skills, but the real challenge is in making sure those skills are used ethically and responsibly.
Yeah. It's like we're not just building a tool, we're shaping a force that could have a profound impact as a society as a whole. So how do we make sure that impact is a positive one?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And there's no easy answer. As we've discussed, ethical considerations, they aren't static. What might be considered ethical today could evolve as our understanding of AI and its capabilities grows.
So it's not enough to like program AI with just a set of rules. We need to create AI systems that can actually learn and adapt their ethical framework as the world changes around them.
Exactly. We need AI that can think critically about the consequences of its actions and make decisions that align with human values, even in complex and unforeseen situations.
That sounds like a tall order. How do we even begin to approach that?
Well, it requires a multidisciplinary effort, bringing together experts from different fields like computer science, philosophy, psychology, and even law. We need to consider not just the technical aspects of AI, but also the social, cultural, and ethical implications.
It's a good reminder that the future of AI isn't just about technological advancements. It's about shaping that technology in a way that benefits all of humanity.
Well said. And that's something we all have a role to play in. By engaging in these conversations, asking those tough questions, and demanding responsible development, we can help guide AI towards a future that is both innovative and ethical.
This has been a really fascinating deep dive. It's given me a lot to think about.
Me too. It's clear that the journey of AI development is far from over. There's still so much to explore and discover.
And that's what makes it so fascinating, right? There's this sense of wonder and possibility that comes with delving into these complex topics.
Absolutely. So as we wrap up our deep dive today, I encourage you to stay curious, keep asking questions, and engage in this ongoing conversation about the future of AI.
Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey of exploration. Until next time, keep those minds open and those imaginations sparked.
And remember, the future of AI is in our hands. TWE CIA.